I left my buttons over there. Go figure. Go figure. I hope everybody's doing well and has their cup of joe, because we are the coffee club and you cannot attend the coffee club without your cup of joe or tea or water or whatever you drink first thing in the morning. We'll leave it to non-alcoholic beverages over here. I know we're a crazy bunch. Nice to see you, Stormy. Carla, the real me too. Dawn, it's nice to see you. Linda, sorta Morta, Jessica, hey. Melanie, the Hen House. We have another Melanie, the hit of the Melanies. Pat, it's nice to see you. Mama Dukes, it's me, Laura. Christy, Shining Star, Truth in Time. Darlene, Cheryl, good morning. Janice, Anna, Deanna, SRK, Amanda, Shannon is in the house. It's nice to see you, my love. Nice to see you. Nerdy girl, nice to see you. Tara, Angie, good morning. Hey guys, I'm cooking a turkey today. Hot turkey sandwiches are my favorite. I would skip over Thanksgiving if I could just have hot turkey sandwiches. I remember when we were out in front of Quentin Simon's. Oh my gosh, the babysitter, Diana, she ended up making us a pitcher of hot cocoa, real hot cocoa, and hot turkey sandwich. Oh my gosh, they were so good. I don't know what she cooks her turkey in, but oh, it was delicious. It was delicious. It's nice to see you, Clarissa. Good morning. Hey guys, Carla, Amanda, Robin, NH, it's nice to see you. Stephanie, Dina, Brianne, it's nice to see you. I heard a crappy content creator was on spreading misinformation, more information, crying victim. Oh my God, I'm a victim. I can't handle it. So we decided to run. I figured you guys can't take victimization much longer because I'm bursting at the seams. Like, I just got tagged in it. I listened to 5 hot minutes of it. I'm like, oh, nope, not today, Satan. Not today, because we have real work to do over here. It's called Sebastian Rogers, and we're tired. We're tired of people complaining, okay? Nobody has a right to complain. You're not missing. Let's straighten that up. I think I'm a little. Just wanted to make sure that you guys could see the anger. It's nice to see you. Court's Crime Couch, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Misty. Good morning. We're going to make it about Sebastian Rogers. Why? Because these yahoos are all about themselves, much like the mom and the stepdad. Oh, poor me. Everybody's tired of hearing about the poor me. We got a 15-year-old child missing. You don't know where he is. Is he locked in a dungeon? Is he being SA'd? Is he being abused? Is he having himself knocked around? And you're worried about, Well, we don't care. Why? Because we have a 15-year-old boy that needs to be found. That's why we don't care. Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old, high-functioning autistic boy that disappeared from inside his locked home with allegedly only his mommy. And then we find out, Charles, they have low IQs. Yes, they do. CBI crimes. I agree with you 100%. His own subscribers off. Why do people follow her? Because she hit her head. I think that lady has got some substance abuse problems, whether it's pills, whatever. I don't know what it is, but this lady has did a 180 in a matter of several months. And so that tells me that there's a lot of pressure going on inside of her household, inside of her private life, that's making her behave this way. So, I mean, you got to look at the psychology of it, in my opinion, you know? So we're hearing that I'm saying, first of all, I want to clarify some things for the idiots in the back, because we know we have a few of them. Hey, Linda Lou, it's nice to see you. Hugs and kisses, my love. Hugs and kisses, Sam. Hugs and kisses to you, too. Saying that this is how misinformation gets started, and disinformation. So we had a conversation, and we were going through, we've been going back to the beginning of this case, and some of the information is pulled from social media posts. And there was a coworker of Chris's that talked about a very specific event in Alabama where they had no idea that Chris was married because he was talking to another woman at the bar and getting really chummy with another woman at the bar in Alabama in 2021. I didn't know them back then. This is not my statement. This is his coworker's statement. And so this is what this Yahoo is saying on her channel. She's saying that which you guys all know, I'm the one that debunked Katie having illicit, rendezvous with a neighbor. Okay, clearly I'm not saying that they're doing things. This lady is actually on her channel stating that I'm the one that said these things, that I'm the one that's accusing him of these things. When have you heard me accuse them of that? That's what she's telling her audience. So if she's lying about that, how much more information is she lying to her audience about? On the back of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, which this should only be about. It shouldn't be about me. Okay? My opinions stay on my channel. And, her opinions do not, because she incites her audience to go out there and act. And that's something she's going to have to deal with, much like the garbage she's doing today. So what we're going to do is we're going to reel this on in. Reel it on in. Everybody come on in, because we're tired of the drama. Okay? We're tired of the drama. God's girl. I love that name. Nice to see you, my love. Denise, nice to see you. Come on in, because you know what we're going to do? We're going to give them the proverbial middle finger, and we're going to say, this is about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, not about your effing feelings. We're tired of hearing about everybody's feelings and nobody giving a squat about a 15-year-old that's disappeared and what he's going through and his feelings. I'm tired of being all this emotional crap because of all these content creators got to make themselves the victim. Okay? There is nobody on these streets more of a victim than Bullhorn Betty with the nonsense that they've done. So I don't want to hear it. If they're getting a little taste of their own medicine and they're crying victim when I've never cried victim in 4 years, you know what? Shut up, Buttercup. We're tired of hearing it. So now let's get down to brass tacks and what truly matters in this case. What truly matters in this case? Do you think these content creators matter? Do you think I matter in this case? No. Do you think mom and stepdad, pieces of garbage that lie and had CPS at their house, really matter at this point? No. Their information does, but no. Do you think Seth Rogers matters in this situation? No. Do you think any of the feelings matter in this situation? Big old fat N-O. Okay? So we're tired of the emotional, oh, poor me from everybody. Okay? If I'm not sitting up here saying poor me after being thrown in jail for not committing a freaking crime, I don't want to hear it from a lot of you. Period. Mic drop. Okay? This is about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Let's get back to it. Because we have pieces of garbage parents that are sitting there thinking photo ops are more important than actually giving a damn about their child and actually getting their off their butts and going out there and searching. I didn't make that happen. They did. Right? Their inaction is what's bringing us to the front door. Us having these conversations. If these parents acted like they had scruples like the military gives people, we wouldn't be here. And we wouldn't be talking about it. But there's something fishy going on with their story. And I'm not going to sit here and say that there's not. And by me being on my platform and having my opinion, commentary, and criticism, guess what? Not harassing and not stalking. Why? I'm sitting in Florida in my freaking home on my own channel that nobody is even required to watch. There's nobody sitting at your home putting a gun to your head and saying, hey, you got to watch Bullhorn Betty. Doesn't work that way. So when you watch, you're choosing to watch. And when you stay here more than 2 seconds, you're choosing to stay here more than 2 seconds. Nobody is forcing you to be here. Nobody's forcing you to listen to my commentary, criticism, or my opinions. But we are ready to get back to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, and we are sick and tired of hearing everybody bitching, moaning, groaning, and complaining. They need Jesus. That's what they need. They need a big dose of Jesus. The lady that's sitting here talking this smack, spreading this misinformation and disinformation on her channel has used 90% of her money to buy substances. Okay? And I can personally tell you, she is not in recovery, because if she was in recovery, her sponsor would tell her not to behave like that because it can trigger another episode. How would I know that? How would I know that? Maybe because I have had a sponsor for many years. Oh my God. Really? Yeah. They would tell you not to act that way. They would teach you that by having hate could trigger another episode of a relapse. So no, I don't believe the lady's in recovery. At all. At all. Okay? So people have had things to say about Bullhorn Betty not having the proper playing field. I'm focusing too much on the piece of garbage parents that should know where a child is and do not, and not focusing enough on an innocent parent that didn't have the child and isn't the one that lost them. So I'm a little confused about that. But you know what? Hey, you know, let's just give them what they need. You know, let's just give them a little Seth, okay? Let's see Seth's real life interview. A real good one. How about the Nancy Grace? Somebody that doesn't take crap, right? That calls people out on their stuff literally live right then and there. That sounds like a good one. And then maybe after that one, we'll do the hot mess express of the other parents. Let's compare apples to apples. Shall we? I think so. Yay! Nancy Grace! Nancy Grace, Nancy Grace. We love you, Nancy! Sometimes.
Is a missing autistic teen, Sebastian Rogers. The hunt is on for this boy. Did he wander away from home entirely barefoot?
Did you guys hear
this, as eerie surveillance footage emerges outside Sebastian's home, purportedly of two people with flashlights.
Oh my gosh, you mean Nancy Grace got the memo too? Oh, what about these psychotic people on these hate channels that just can't get a clue? That's not a garbage truck, dum-dums.
What does that mean? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories and on Sirius XM 111.
All right, we're going to have to do something. You know I'm going to have to get my buttons. Hold on. I'm going to have to get my buttons. Oh, shit. What did I just drop? Oh, I just dropped the... Hold on a second. I'm having some issues. Uh-oh. Just dropped my plug. You guys are going to have to wait for me. It's because of that little beast right there. She wouldn't settle down. I couldn't get her to settle down today, so we had to get in. Oh, you can't see her. All right. Let's get... Now the party can start. All right, move it or lose it. I'm going to sit on your head. All right, now we're back. Now we can start because we got Nancy Grace up in the house.
And first of all
right, now
listen
get
to
back
this.
under the bed.
When I woke him up for school, he wasn't there. I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take.
No, you're not going to get under
I was
the
on the phone
covers.
with my husband. I said, I can't find him. He said, what do you mean can't?
Sorry, guys. Let me get her situated. She's going to get up here and start moving everything around once she gets under the covers. But as long as she's settled down, I'm good. Oh, there. Oh, perfect. Good girl.
Find him. I said, he's not in the house.
You are hearing Sebastian's mother describing the moment that she realizes Sebastian is gone. Again, I'm Nancy Grace, and I want to thank you for being with us. The search for Sebastian is on. And let me, right off the top, give you the tip line, 615-451-3838. Repeat,
So if you guys have any information to the whereabouts, location, firsthand knowledge, or you know somebody that has firsthand knowledge, you call the tip line. You call Memphis FBI. You call whoever you need to. There are people out there that have information. I'm going to say that loud and clear. There are people out there that have information about the whereabouts of this young man right here. And we are going to be praying and praying hard. Hey, War Eagle, it's nice to see you, my love. We're going to be praying really, really, really hard that he is brought home safely. But there are people that know where he's at and the people involved in his disappearance. I believe that 100% of my being. So if you know somebody, you've overheard somebody speaking, you've overheard somebody have details that you don't think the normal public has, reach out to the tip lines. And if you don't want to be on the hook for answers, reach out to 833-TELL-DOG. 833-TELL-DOG. War Eagle is building up the channel. She obviously was taken out. We're going to be putting War Eagle back on the map. So if you guys haven't already, go sub up to War Eagle. War damn Eagle. We will not go away. We will not let these bullies win.
615-451-3838. Look at him. This boy needs our help. Where is Sebastian? Joining me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. But first, I want to go out to...
There is Seth Rogers. Look at that man's face. Definitely not smiling. Definitely not joking around. Definitely not a man that appears that he thinks that this is a freaking joke. This is a father that has his heart freaking broken on a sleeve. You feel that man's emotion in every single one of his interviews. Not this horse crap coming from the biological mom and stepfather. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
To a very special guest. This is Sebastian's father joining us, Seth Rogers. Mr. Rogers, thank you for being with us. Could you recount for us when you learned Sebastian is missing? I know it just seems completely surreal.
There's no words for it. I mean, when I found out that he was gone, I was just like, I headed over to Katie's house, see what was going on, and he's not here. I don't know where he's at. I've been looking for him every day. It's just...
Seth, what have you been doing to look for him every day? And I know that to be true. You are looking for him every day. Guys.
Oh my gosh. So we have a national lady that sits here and she has made her career on the information she can get with all of her multiple sources out God knows where. And she knows he's been looking for his son everywhere and every day at this juncture in the case. Every day. Every day. This lady knows. Why? Because people saw it. People could see him out there. People could see this deputy sheriff looking for his son while two military-trained people sat on their hands.
Guys, please look at Sebastian. This young boy is autistic. He may not, in a scared and emotional and lost state, he may not even be able to tell someone who he is and where his home is. He is out there lost, and the Lord only knows where. Seth, what have you been doing to find Sebastian?
Been handing out flyers every day. I've been on some podcasts. I've done some face-to-face interviews on the news. I'm just anything I can. I've been to the south side of Nashville. I've been to Franklin. I've been to Bellevue. I've been through Henderson. I've been through Gallatin. I've been through Clarksville.
Oh, wow. Wow. I bet you I bet you when you ask mom and stepdad where they've been, they haven't left Henderson. Oh, by the way, we went to we did leave. I'm sorry. They did leave. They left to go to South Carolina to a motorcycle rally after their child disappeared. That's right. They went out and let their hair hang down, probably got really intoxicated on the heels of their child missing. And this man is all over the state of Tennessee looking for his child. Sickening.
Been through Oak Grove, Kentucky. I mean, I'm handing out flyers, finding out. I mean, I want everybody to see my son and know that he's missing, and that if you see him, call 911. I need my son back.
You know, just trying to
begging for the audience to call 911. He needs his son back. That seems to be the message for Seth, right? I need my son back. I need my son back. My son needs to be here. He's my son. He's not anybody's, but damn it, he's mine, right? Everybody wanted me to show Seth's interview, and I can tell you Seth's interviews are packed with emotion and keeping it focused on Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, not about him or what he is going through.
get my mind around what you and Sebastian's mom are going through, because when I go in to wake up my twins,
you notice that she is triggering the conversation about it, not him.
if they're not in the bed, which is rare, they're usually still asleep. If they're not in the bed, I immediately glance in the bathroom, and if they're not there, that's totally out of character. They're always right there in their bedroom in the morning when I wake them up. And that would be totally out of the normal if they weren't there. Tell me your understanding of what happened.
Katie told me that when she woke up Monday morning that he wasn't in his room and she can't find him. And I heard that once I got there. When I got off of work, I had a text message from the stepfather, Chris, and a missed phone call. And I called him, and he told me that Sebastian was missing, and he didn't know what had happened. So I headed
Okay, let
into
me
their
ask you a
house.
couple of quick questions, Seth. Number one, is there any type of a
And I want to let you know, even with her asking what he's going through, what does he make it about? He makes it about Sebastian, details about the case, information that he's finding out, information that may or may not sit right with him.
burglar alarm in the home?
I don't know. I don't live there.
Okay, that is not helping me. Let me see if I can find that out. I'm going to go to Aaron Cantrell on that from News Channel 5. So we don't know if there's a burglar alarm. Was a window open in Sebastian's home, in his room?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, Nancy, we don't know. We do know that they did search the perimeter of the house. And I know one day when I was out there, when they were searching, they had a dive team out there. They were searching the grounds. But the area is very, some parts of it is very rural, and they're doing a lot of construction around the area. So there's a lot of construction, lots of subdivisions being built in that area. And like you mentioned earlier, the flashlights in the backyard, that was a very common area where people could potentially be walking. But it is odd at that early in the morning that there were two flashlights, in considering that's what detectives are saying, that they believe that Sebastian left the home barefoot with the flashlight. So that.
And I don't think that's the case. We all know that there was multiple flashlights and he doesn't have friends. So who were those multiple flashlights? But as you know, nobody believes this was garbage trucks.
That is very odd, but as you can see in these pictures here, it's a very rural area. They've called in teams from across Tennessee. I mean, they've gone as far east, as far west, bringing in different units to come search the property. They've drained ponds. They're looking everywhere, and they've searched about a 10-mile radius in thousands of miles, just going back and forth, until unfortunately they had to scale back that search.
So, Seth, what time did you get to the home that day?
I got the message at about 7:20. I was there at about 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Oh,
So it
was 7. That's what it was. I keep telling him he was there earlier. So if he was there at right about 8 o'clock, then maybe those shoes, because they were right at what, 7:56 in the timeline, that might be right, guys. I was thinking he didn't get there until closer to 9, but his recollection this early on, which I would trust these earlier interviews, say that he was there right about 8 in the morning. That would make sense. That would absolutely make sense.
Immediately. When you got to the home, tell me about the state of the home.
The home was clean. I mean, it looked like it normally did when I walked in.
So, were there any signs of forced entry at the front or back door or on Sebastian's window that you could observe?
No.
Hey, just me.
There was none.
Was anything
Back
stolen
door,
from the
back.
home?
Not that I was informed of.
Okay. Do you
Back
know
door.
if there are burglar lights, motion sensor lights that would turn on if someone moved on the perimeter of the home?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I'm trying to understand his daily routine. Did Sebastian...
Do you see? But I want you guys to pay attention to how she speaks. She speaks like this to everyone. She's going to speak like this exactly the way she's shooting out these questions. She's going to do that to the mom and the stepfather as well in their interview, which we're going to be watching. And I just want you to see how relaxed. I mean, he's anxious, but his commentary is not, military-like. He's speaking freely is what I'm trying to say here. He's speaking freely, and I think that that's important.
Sebastian get up every morning and go to school?
Yes, ma'am.
What school?
Beach High School.
How far away?
Hey, Lori.
I think it's like 0.6 miles.
6 miles? Did you say 6 miles?
No, little over half.
0.6.
0.6 miles, very close to home. Did he walk or take a bus or ride a bike?
He rode the bus.
He rode the bus.
So his mom's is only 0.6 miles down the road, and he rode the bus to school. Just thought I'd clarify that for everybody.
Is he mainstreamed? He is autistic. Is he mainstreamed with other students?
He's in their Why We Try program.
What is that?
It's for the special needs children, where they are doing the same tasks that the mainstream does, but they get a little bit extra time. If they have like 30 questions, and
So this kind of clarifies the school thing, just to let you know.
then in the Why We Try program, they get like 20, and they
Hey,
get
Michelle.
extra time to
Morning.
answer them. So they're still learning the same subject.
Okay, I'm trying to understand. That morning, your wife calls you, your ex calls you about 7:20 a.m. Would that have been
No.
on a school day?
No, it was her husband that called me.
Okay. Was that at 7:20 a.m.?
No, 7:20 a.m. is when I got to my vehicle, because I got off of work at 7. My shift ended at 7. By the time I found out to make sure that I didn't have to stay over or anything, then I got to my truck about 7:20, and they had texted me and tried to call me on my cell phone at around 6:20.
At around 6:20, y'all. Wait a minute. 6:20. That means they called Seth before they called law enforcement. I want to repeat that. If they were on the phone from 6:03 to after 6:33, when the call was registered by law enforcement as coming in 6:33, 30 minutes later, that means they would have called him on three-way to tell him his son was missing before they called law enforcement. What? Let's just listen to that again. I might got it wrong.
At 7. By the time I found out to make sure that I didn't have to stay over or anything, then I got to my truck about 7:20, and they had texted me and tried to call me on my cell phone at around 6:20.
They tried to call him on his cell phone around 6:20. They called the father before they even called law enforcement. They called the father before they even called for help. I don't know.
And you found out about it at 7:20, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Rogers, did he go missing on a school day?
From my understanding, she put him to bed Sunday night, and yes, Monday morning he's missing.
Okay, so he's in his room Sunday night. Monday morning, he's gone out of his home. Could you tell me the level of the severity of his autism?
He's very intelligent. He's very smart. He just lacks.
I want you to listen to this. He's very intelligent. He's very smart. Always starting out with all of the positive things about his son. All the positive things about his son. Not that he wears diapers, not that he's in your face, not that he has problems making friends, because he's always in your face, and you know what he just doesn't have boundaries, and you know the long line of frustration that is gleaned from the mom and stepdad's interviews.
Social skills and reading of people's body language. He likes things to be in a routine. He likes to control his environment.
He likes things in a routine, and he likes to control his environment. Much different than spontaneously waking up and deciding to run away from home without shoes, socks, food, or money, or his Switch. Not controlled. That is not controlled.
I'm looking at Sebastian right now, and it is breaking my heart thinking of this young boy, this autistic boy, possibly out in the wild, possibly with strangers he doesn't know. What would his reaction be to that, Seth Rogers?
I don't know, because I've never seen him have to deal with this. Most of the time, if he's with me, he gets his
I don't understand how you say he doesn't seem to know basically nothing about Sebastian. He's the one that has filled us in more about Sebastian and who he is as a person than we have gotten from all the umpteen million interviews from the disgruntled parents that seem to hate him. And as a matter of fact, Josh, you're not acting right. So goodbye. What a jerk. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Somebody unhide. Oops, I hit the wrong one. Sorry. I hit you. I hit Roxy's world. Sorry, Roxy. I hit you by accident. Did I unblock her? Unhidden. Yeah, I hit you by accident. Somebody get Josh. I don't want Josh in here. If they're listen, we have several rules here. Actually, let me speak to Josh before I block you. And this is for everybody that's here. It's a privilege to be in this chat, not a right. And I don't like your commentary, not because of what you're saying, but how you're saying it. This man loves his child, and you're coming into my chat and acting like he doesn't, and he doesn't know a thing. Shame on you for your disinformation and misinformation. You have no business being here spreading this lies, spreading this misinformation about a father looking for a son, when two parents that are military trained haven't even got off their butts to do crap, and only did, 7 months later, a photo op? You want to talk about parents? That's pretty crappy that two parents live in a home that want to discipline this child into normalcy. So the next time you come into my chat, which will be under a different name because you're about to be blocked, but the next time you come into my chat, get your facts together, because this is a factual channel. Do we speculate? Yes, we do, but our basis is always the facts of the case. And we don't like people coming in here and spreading misinformation and intentional disinformation for a narrative. Shame on you, Josh. Shame on you.
Information from me about interacting with people. You know, if I sit there and I'm meeting new people, I talk to him. It's like, son, you can introduce yourself if you would like. If he does, he does. If he doesn't want to, I don't make him.
Seth, when was the last time you can verify that he was alive and well?
When I talked to him on Thursday,
How often do you see him?
I get to see him every other weekend. If he's on like a spring break or a fall break, or he's got an extended time away from school for like school days. When we had the weather was bad out here and they canceled school, he was with me. Summer breaks, I get him whenever he's not in school, except
Seth,
for the week.
Whenever you have the opportunity to be with Sebastian, isn't it true that you exercise that opportunity? You are with him every chance possible under the law.
Yes, ma'am.
Every
Guys,
chance
I'm
under
bringing
the
the rest
law.
of the panel. You are hearing Seth Rogers describe the moment he gets off of work at around 7 a.m., gets to his vehicle, and realizes his wife and the stepdad have been calling and texting him, thank you, since around 6:20-ish a.m. It's on a Monday morning
Well, hello, Crime Stories Obsessed. It's nice to see you this beautiful Saturday, love bug. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. If you guys have never been over to Crime Stories Obsessed, that's Emma. She's a beautiful first responder over in the UK that loves helping victims. So if that's something that you're interested in, please don't forget to hit her up. She's got a great channel.
tell him his son, an autistic boy, is missing from their home. And from what I can tell right now, you heard Aaron Cantrell jumping in earlier, and thank you for that, Aaron. Please don't hold back, Aaron. We're not having high tea at Windsor Castle. Aaron is joining us from News Channel 5 in Nashville. Aaron, thank you for being with us. I don't hear anything so far.
News Channel 5 is also the Nick Barris organization, so he works with Nick Barris, and there's been some tension, to say the least, with Nick Barris and his coverage of this case.
About a forced entry, about a window being open, about anything being taken from the home. I understand that the mother put him to bed at regular bedtime for school the next morning, and that around 6 to 6:20 a.m. Monday morning, she says she goes into his bedroom to wake him, and he is gone. Aaron or Seth or anyone else on the panel, do we know that anything else was missing, such as his backpack, a cell phone, something he liked? Do we know anything about anything missing from the home? Anybody?
His mother said that he's missing a keychain flashlight. That's it.
His key.
And this was done. We'll find out what date this interview was done. But we want to know when that flashlight, that keychain flashlight, was introduced into the story. I think that is something interesting, to say the least.
Keychain flashlight. Interesting, Seth Rogers. When I come in, I put my driver's license and credit cards, which are in a rubber band. That's my pocketbook. All of that, and my key in a certain spot in the kitchen. Rarely do I put it anywhere else. This is what I'm asking, Seth. You told me that your son, autistic boy, Sebastian, likes things in a certain way, in a routine, like many of us. Would he have had that flashlight, and I believe you said keys? Flashlight and keys attached to each other?
It's a keychain flashlight. It's a flashlight that would go on your keys.
I bet he always put them in a certain place, didn't
But I guarantee he didn't have a key, which is odd for a 15-year-old kid.
he?
In my house, all of his stuff is in his upper drawer. When the police showed up at my house to look, upper drawer, house key, wallet, everything's in his upper drawer.
Aaron Cantrell, News Channel 5 Nashville. Hold on just one moment. Joining me right now is an expert, a board-certified behavior analyst, an autism expert, Chief Clinical Officer with Little Stars Therapy Services, Courtney Lasky. Thank you so much for being with us. Isn't it true that autistic children, like many of us, like things to be in a certain order for many, many varied reasons. If this was missing from Sebastian's home, I would venture to hypothesize he took it with him.
Correct. Yes. And, without knowing.
Now, let me ask you guys something. If you guys know that a kid is autistic, obviously he likes things. Do you think what would be the probability of him taking the flashlight over his switch? I just want to put that out there for all of my autistic moms and dads out there, and people that work with, like SPED teacher that actually work with children. What are the probability of him taking a flashlight versus his switch or snacks? First switch, 0%. 6 autistic children and a husband. Phone and game priority. That's what I'm thinking. So this, we didn't know this at first because, we didn't know anything about Sebastian. We've learned a lot about Sebastian since these earlier days. A lot. So let's keep going.
Sebastian personally, I can't make any assumptions about his behavior, but knowing that this was not a typical history for him to wander, to leave the house in the middle of the night, it is interesting that he did leave with that keychain flashlight.
The professional says it's interesting. We all know what that means. It's interesting that he left the house in the middle of the night with just that keychain flashlight. Hey, VA, Granny, Metal Ass, Roxy, I'm glad I noticed that. I would have felt so bad if I accidentally blocked you.
Another thing, which is quite the dichotomy, Courtney Lasky, and I'm going to throw this to you as well, Seth Rogers. If he was in such routine, as I believe he was, due to his circumstances being autistic, why would he have left without his shoes? That is not his routine. This is not a child that leaves the home without his shoes. First of all, Seth, how do I know he didn't have his shoes?
3 pairs of shoes were at the front door. His old tennis shoes, his new tennis shoes that his mama had just bought him, and the boots that I had just bought him.
So his old shoes and all the new shoes were there, okay? His old shoes. People were like, well, what did she do with her old shoes? Well, apparently he had a pair of old shoes still there. Still there.
His mama had told me
another set of shoes.
His feet were growing. The last time I had him for the last weekend I had him, his mama told me that his shoes weren't fitting anymore. And she asked me to get him shoes. And we wanted a pair of boots, so we went to Boot Barn and got him a pair of boots.
Is it possible he wore a different pair of shoes?
I don't think so, because if he's not fitting into them, she gets rid of them.
Okay, let me tell you something, Seth. My son and daughter have one of those shoe racks over the back of their closet door. And I would see.
The crazy part is Nancy's not catching the situation here. He only has 3 pairs of shoes. He doesn't have enough to get a shoe bag. He's got 3 pairs of shoes. I've never known a 15-year-old boy to only have 3 pairs of shoes. I wonder if that's just for him or his mom and stepdad only have 3 pairs of shoes as well. What's up with not giving this boy any type of shoe?
I see those closet doors 10 times a day. I would see if shoes were missing. I would know that.
There's no shoes in his room.
There are no shoes in his room.
I see those closet doors 10 times a day. I would see if shoes were missing. I would know that.
There's no shoes in his room.
Okay, there's my answer. He left without his shoes on.
Shoes get taken off at the front door, same as my house.
Same here. I always have people take their shoes off at the door. Just habit. So there were no shoes in his room. All his shoes were still sitting at the door. Can we confirm that, Seth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Guys, you may think, why is she asking and asking and asking about the same thing? I'll tell you why. Behavioral evidence of routine.
Oh, what is that? Behavioral evidence. Things that people don't pay attention to. Behavioral evidence. Oh, I guess it must not be evidence according to the hate channels. We're just crackpots over here that can't see the forest for the trees like them.
Hold on, Courtney Lasky, because this touches on you as well. Dr. Sherry Schwartz is with me, forensic psychologist specializing in victim advocacy at panthermitigation.com. Dr. Sherry, thank you for being with us. Dr. Sherry, when I say routine evidence, I don't mean mundane evidence, just, the regular evidence. I mean evidence of routine. For instance, if I came and sat down in this chair in this studio and Jackie was not right there, she would either be dead or on the way or in the hospital, period. Because that's her routine, right? So this autistic child would not have left in the middle of the night without a pair of shoes on. And that is telling me something probatively. It proves something to me. What do you think of it?
Probatively, it proves something. And I also want to know, I want everybody to also notice, so far out of this interview, we are 18 minutes and 7 seconds into this interview, and not one time has Seth talked about his problems, how he's feeling, how hate and harassment's getting to him. No, he is talking about his son, and every chance he can. His son is the first and forefront of this entire interview. This is an interview for the benefit of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This is an interview for the avocation of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This is not a self-preservation type of an interview where it's all about Seth Rogers. This is about his son.
Dr. Sherry?
I agree completely, Nancy. I actually saw an interview that Mr. Rogers gave about this particular issue and how when he was younger, Sebastian, he stepped.
This was the News Channel 5, Nick Barris' very first interview Seth Rogers ever gave. He talked about the very specific situation where his son stepped into the ants. That's what she's referring to.
He went outside barefoot and he stepped into an anthill of fire ants. And so Dad doesn't believe that he would go out barefoot. And so this goes to that behavioral evidence that you're talking about. This is another fact that's very important that we need.
Yeah, we did realize that. And I had your time wrong too, Seth. I was thinking you were there closer to 9, but in this interview, this is a very new interview, or, earlier on interview. And I must have got it. I must have was told that you were there before 9, before 8. And I just assumed it was before 9. It was my fault. But yeah, now that we know that you were there by 8 or close there too, it does make sense with the timeline.
Need to pay attention to, because this is not something that Sebastian would normally do, and we know this because he's had a prior experience. So these are really important cues in an investigation like this.
Dr. Sherry Schwartz, a lot of people may think that means nothing, that I can't find his shoes, but it means a lot to me, and I guarantee you it would mean a lot to any mother or father hearing this evidence. Seth, what does it mean to you? Was he prone to go outside and wander around at all, period, number 1, at night in the dark, number 2, and without his shoes on, number 3? Would he ever have done that, Seth?
No. I mean, the only time he goes outside at night at my house is to put the trash in the trash can, which is right outside my front door. That's it.
I'm very curious about this. And one more thing, while it's on my mind, does he have social media, Seth?
No, he does not.
Okay, good. I can rule that out, or at least we don't think he does. Does he have a cell phone?
He does have a cell phone.
Where's the cell phone?
At his mom and stepfather's.
So didn't take his cell phone. Seth, is he like every other boy in America glued to his cell phone? Does
When
he love
he
his
has
cell
access to it, he
phone? What
loves
do you mean by that? When does he have access?
when he has access to like YouTube and stuff like that, he is glued to his phone because he likes to watch videos about Minecraft and he likes to watch videos of people playing Minecraft.
Okay, you do know that is social media because people can talk to each other on Minecraft. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I found out.
What I'm talking about is the videos. He watches videos of people playing it on YouTube.
Does he play it?
I think he has it for his Switch at his mom's house, but he does.
We all know that the Switch was not connected. They've gone over this. Apparently, I don't know what to believe with related to the access, but it sounds like he was so restricted at his mom and stepdad's house that he had nothing, and always in trouble. That's just what I've gotten over these 7 months. So I'm unsure, but it sounds like you can't message on YouTube videos. And not only that, but it sounded like they were monitoring his use, even if he was, because the mom said that they did that more for positive reinforcement, so we know that he was online. It's just that he was very much, they had parental controls out the wazoo on his stuff, which is a little odd, again, 15 years old, but, I'm not going to get into people's parenting styles if it's not abusive. Each parent has a right to raise their children as they see fit. However, I feel like this was a little overboard because of the other information we now have.
It's not.
Yeah.
And he's glued to that all the time.
We need a forensic search of that phone pronto, Seth, because I find it very curious if he went voluntarily that he didn't take the phone with him. Okay? Because it'd be a cold day in HELL that either one of my 16-year-olds would go anywhere without their phone. And it's not just them. Everybody takes their phone with them everywhere they go. It's like their magic wand. You can't be without it. So I find it interesting. Did the mom have the phone put away? Could he have taken it with him?
Most of the time I've seen the phone plugged in on the counter on the little bar in their kitchen.
Okay, I'm going to Courtney Lasky joining us, expert in children and teens with autism. Courtney, you've been listening. Weigh in.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you, Nancy. This is a very unusual pattern of behavior that we're looking at.
Very unusual pattern of behavior we're looking at. We're not talking about a normal 15-year-old boy. This is a boy that's a high-functioning autistic boy. Yes, very intelligent children, autistic children are, but they have habits. They have their own schedules, their own repetition in doing things. They thrive with structure.
If this child has access to a cell phone, like you said, Minecraft is social media, YouTube is social media, anywhere that he would have access and the ability to talk with others. My concern would be related to his autism diagnosis and that deficit in communication and understanding of social skills. Is it possible that peers at school or someone has contacted him through these gaming methods?
We also have to consider one other thing. If the phone was charged in the kitchen on the bar, what are the probabilities of him using that phone in the middle of the night to make contact to a third party to help pick him up? We have to look at that, the probability of that as well. Guys, don't forget to give me a thumbs up on the way in. We have been working around the clock trying to break this case down to you in light of all the misinformation and disinformation. These are real interviews that were provided early on in this case that we are now going back to see if we can derive more information. And look at this. We already did. We just found out that they called Seth before they called law enforcement, something we did not know before. I mean, we've heard it, but we didn't quite make the connection. to that. That's very, very interesting. We're learning that it appears that the shoes were not an issue until Seth arrived at the home and realized all the shoes were there. How in the world did he walk out of the house? It sounds to me, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, Seth, because you and I haven't talked about this, but this is just my opinion, and you don't have to weigh in on it at all. But it's my opinion that as soon as Seth walked in the house and saw those shoes, I feel like he would have known something didn't smell right, something didn't feel right at that moment. Whether he disregarded it or not, I think he knew something wasn't right. Just my opinion. Again, I haven't spoke to Seth about this. He doesn't need to chime in or anything like that, but that's just my personal opinion based on this particular interview.
Bullying, peer pressure, was he persuaded to leave perhaps from his mom's house in the middle of the night?
I know that
you jumping in, Seth?
Yes, ma'am. I know that his phone was locked down. He had no internet access. He only had the ability to take pictures on his phone, text on his phone, FaceTime, and telephone calls. Everything else was locked down on his phone.
Have the police looked at his phone? Have they taken his phone to look at who he may have been speaking to?
Yes, ma'am.
Question.
And I would have to think that particular forensic data would have been easier to review than, say, biological forensics being done. That takes months. I mean, many, many, many months. 9-10 months is not unheard of. Sometimes DNA and forensics don't come back for a year. So them having his phone and being able to look at it, they would have been able to determine early on whether or not there was a third party that they need to be looking at. I just want to clarify that for everybody.
Where is this coming from, Aaron Cantrell, that people saw flashlights, two people with flashlights around the property the night that Sebastian disappears? And I keep seeing in all the headlines the night that Sebastian wandered off barefoot. I don't think that's what happened. He's never wandered off before. What? Go ahead, dear.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we got that video a little later, so we just got that video maybe and released it within like the last week or so. But this is from just neighborhood video, like the Ring doorbell cameras. In that subdivision from the reporting, there's not street lights there, so that's why it's so pitch black and it's so late at night. But you see those two flashlights. But what's interesting is where these lights are, it's almost a common area, so it wouldn't be odd if someone may have been out at that time walking their dog or something of that nature. But the fact that Sebastian did leave with a flashlight, and there are two flashlights seen in that video, and it is pitch black, very concerning.
Put him up. Why do you keep saying Sebastian did leave? Why are you saying that? Would you go out in the middle of the night and leave without your shoes on? I'm just curious. Would you?
Does that sound like this? Now, you guys got to understand, Nancy Grace is a former prosecutor. She's built cases like this. She knows what information she needs to look at. She knows what information would be perceived as evidence in a court of law. She's very knowledgeable when it comes to this. She's a former attorney. We know this. So she's saying, whoa, wait a minute. Why are you keep saying this boy walked out of the house? Because to be honest with you, in my opinion, that's misinformation. And it's coming from a news organization. Just my opinion.
Why do you keep saying Sebastian did leave? Why are you saying that? Would you go out in the middle of the night and leave without your shoes on? I'm just curious. Would you, Aaron?
No, you make a good point. I would not leave without my shoes.
I don't think you would.
So a normal person, not a high-functioning autistic child, a normal person that is going to leave the home for an extended period of time would do what? Put their shoes on. Put their shoes on.
Either. Even more so because you're hearing Courtney Lasky and Seth Rogers state this boy is autistic. He doesn't think the same way we think. We have to try to think like him. He liked everything in a particular routine. His routine was he wore shoes every time he went out after the ant bed incident. Okay? So, no. Why would he go missing? And let me ask you something else, Aaron Cantrell. Isn't it true that Emergency Management Agency Director Ken Widener has told us that the canines could not pick up a scent outdoors?
Exactly. They have not been able to pick up a scent. They had a false hit, but then that did not turn out to be anything, because when Sebastian went missing, it was kind of a warm day that first day, but after the next day of the search, it went extremely cold. It was rainy, which made it even more concerning, because here you have this 15-year-old who has autism with no shoes on and, maybe a sweatshirt and sweatpants, but it is now cold. So they were concerned about hypothermia as well. So a lot of factors kind of changed the search as well.
So we all just heard that. No scent. No scent. No evidence that this child walked out of the house, yet people keep trying to elude that this child walked out of the house.
But they have not picked up a scent at all.
Officials have now been able to analyze home security video from that Hendersonville neighborhood and discover signs of what may have happened to Sebastian. 2 people near the family home, and as I recall, it was around 3:10 a.m. that Monday.
3:10 a.m.
3:10 a.m. Who in the hay is walking around, 2 people, 2 flashlights at 3:10 a.m. in that neighborhood, and coincidentally, it is the same time during which Sebastian goes missing, which leads me to our guest, Douglas McGregor, geographic profiler specializing in violent crime and missing people.
This is a great interview. People wanted to hear the interview from Seth. Here's the interview from Seth. This is interview number 2 from Seth. This is all about his son, not about him. This is all about wheedling the BS down. And there's nobody that can wheedle the BS down like Nancy Grace.
You can find him at the Geo Profiler. Douglas, thank you so much for joining us. A lot's happening right here. No canine scent outside. No shoes. No break-in. No theft. The phone's still there. Weigh in.
So if we look at...
Before we get started, I just want to say these are professionals, not uneducated people with opinions and microphones. This is stuff that people went to school for, spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for education and being top in their field. Top in their field. I just want to make sure everybody knows they're not huffing on marijuana or C-pipes, okay? Just throw that out there.
If we look at each of these, the no shoes thing, there's a lot of autistic people who actually enjoy going barefoot. It connects them with the earth. They like that texture, that feel. There's a whole campaign, Barefooting for Autism. So I know that, and I did read the article.
Let me stop you right there, Douglas. Let me stop you right there. Seth Rogers, he's right. But does that have anything to do with Sebastian? Did Sebastian go barefoot outside? Was he part of Barefoot for Autism? Do you know?
No, he's got a pair of slippers that he wears, so he doesn't have to put on socks and shoes. He puts those on if he's going to go out to the trash or check the mail and doesn't want to put socks on.
Have you seen him since the ant bed incident go outside barefoot?
No, not at my house.
Okay, all right. Back to you, Douglas McGregor. Go ahead.
So continuing on with just how he...
Hold on a second. Sorry, I have to pause it just for a second and turn my mic off. I got to blow my nose. My allergies get to me.
he left the premises. The other question I have is the wording that law enforcement is giving out with regard to what he was wearing, the clothing, that he was in a black sweater and black sweatpants. How do we know that? Did he go to bed in that clothing? How do we know he didn't wake up in the middle of the night and change clothing? I think the wording should be he may be in a black sweatshirt and sweatpants, or he may have those things on him if they are missing from his house, but we don't know that he left in those.
Great point.
That's a really good
Regarding
point, Seth Rogers. What about it? Is that what he slept in? How do we know that's what he was wearing?
His mom said that he was wearing black leisure pants and a black T-shirt when he went to bed.
Guys, I want you to hear what Eric Craddock, Chief Deputy of Sumner County Sheriff's, has to say.
Really wanted to come to the community and ask for your help. We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night. Look for any details that something has been disturbed. If there's a shirt that was there today that wasn't there yesterday, notify us. You can really help us by searching your own property twice a day. Like I said, we're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off, and we really need your help to ensure that he is brought home safely.
Did he? Did he walk off? If so, why are canines not picking up his scent? I can tell you this, Seth Rogers, and to you, Douglas McGregor, the best witness I ever put on the stand in all the years I tried cases, and I don't mean shopliftings, I mean felony homicides, violent crimes, was a dog. If the dog tells me the dog cannot pick up a scent, I believe the dog. So I'm having a hard time accepting what I'm hearing, that this young autistic boy just wandered out in the middle of the night without shoes on. Okay, back to you, Douglas McGregor. Tell me more of your analysis.
So looking at what the canines were able to pick up, those canines should be picking up multiple scents. And it's all based on Sebastian's routine activities. Does he go to a friend's house during the week? Does he go to the corner store? Does he occasionally walk to school, even taking the bus? Those canines should be picking up all those scents from that 7 days past, because canines regularly train from scenarios where someone's gone missing from 1 hour up to 7 days. And
They said up to 7 days. That child barely left the house if they cannot pick up any scent from him. That's almost troubling in and of itself for me.
bloodhounds can pick up even longer than 7 days. So those canines should be picking up scents. They should be tracking those scents and then ruling them out as an activity from the past that isn't associated with him going missing on that Sunday evening.
Guys, we were just showing you an aerial sketch of a landfill search. There's nothing good about that. Seth Rogers, why have you been told that authorities are searching a landfill?
They told me they just wanted to make sure that there was nothing there.
Aaron Cantrell joining me, News Channel 5 out of Nashville. Aaron, what can you tell me about this landfill search?
Yeah, Nancy. So they had got a tip that potentially from the garbage workers that maybe the trash may have been off a little bit. So just following up on that tip.
What do you mean by that? You can't just throw a grenade into my mind palace and expect me not to follow up. What do you mean something was off?
So basically, the workers said they had the same garbage truck drivers that come to the house, and when they picked up the garbage can, it just felt more heavier than normal. So they just said that to the authorities. So just to follow up on that tip, they went out to the landfill to search, because that's where the trash is taken. There in Sumner County, they take it out there to Kentucky. So just following up on that tip, that's what kind of led them out there, because we're used to our garbage, the same garbage truck workers coming out there. They know kind of how the trash usually feels every single day, so it felt a little off for them. So that's why they told that to the authorities. So that's kind of what led them to the landfill to start looking around.
Seth Rogers, have you been asked to take a polygraph?
No,
Would you be willing to take a polygraph?
I volunteered.
I'm glad to hear that. You know why? I hold every parent to the gold standard. I don't know if you've ever heard of Mark Class. His daughter Polly was kidnapped from the home. She was horribly molested and murdered. When cops came, he, like you, was separated or divorced from his wife and lived separately. You know what he said when they came at the door? He's like, take my fingerprints, search my home, search my car, search my office, do whatever you want. Find my daughter. Find who took my daughter.
The one thing we are not hearing from mom and stepdad.
Because it's not me. I'll take a poly. I'll do whatever you want. And they did all of that. Of course, it wasn't him. It was somebody else. But that said, has the mother and the stepfather taken a polygraph?
I know the mom has.
What?
I said I know his mother has.
So she agreed to a polygraph. What about the stepfather?
I have no idea.
Guys, there is a reward for information in the search for this little autistic boy. Aaron Cantrell, I want you to take a listen to what Chief Deputy Eric Craddock has to say. Listen.
Last Monday morning at about 6:30, Sebastian was reported missing from his home. Since then, we've conducted an extensive and exhaustive search around the home, looking for any evidence, any trace of Sebastian. At this time, the decision's been made to scale back on the ground search operations. Let me be clear that this does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from the ground search to the investigative side. We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive.
From what I know, I can tell you that at this juncture, the family has totally cooperated with police. I'm curious about these flashlights. Back to you, Aaron Cantrell, joining us from News Channel 5. Aaron, I'm deducing, nobody's told me this, that the flashlights of apparently two people were seen in that neighborhood. Was it on Ring Cam?
Yeah, they believe it's a kind of a neighborhood kind of video, so either Ring or some version of that in the neighborhood, which I'm in a Facebook group called Finding Sebastian Rogers, and neighbors have posted in there, like one neighbor said if he would have walked near their house, you know, you have those automatic lights that sometimes come on, but that didn't come on. But in the video with the flashlights, you see two flashlights. That's all you can see because it's so dark. There's no street lights in the neighborhood, but you see two lights walking towards kind of a to the right of the video. But then you see, I think it may be into a wooded area, and then one of those both those lights disappear. But then you see one person stay away, but then some other person or thing comes back into the camera. So that's kind of odd too, because you see two flashlights leave, and then you see some sort of body of something of one person walk back through the camera.
I'm curious, how close were the flashlights to their home, to Sebastian's home?
Very close. So it's kind of right behind the home, kind of in like a common area of the neighborhood. So, you know, like a subdivision, there may be kind of like some grassier area. Maybe people may walk their dogs, that sort of thing. So kind of a common area, but very close to Sebastian's home.
So these flashlights, we think two people, were right behind Sebastian's home. Is that correct, Aaron?
Yes.
Okay. Are you also telling me that there are lights that come on automatically that are motion censored on Sebastian's home?
That's what one of the neighbors alluded to in a Facebook post early on in the investigation. You know, there was a Facebook group started, and, you know,
So no sensor lights came on when somebody would walk by. So that eliminates that somebody most likely did not walk by.
Right now, it's flooded with a lot of individuals. In the beginning, it was definitely more just family and neighbors. And one neighbor did mention that if he was to have walked by their home, their motion lights would have come on if he walked on the side of their home. So that was kind of odd too, because that's why the neighbor said that was suspicious to her, because her light normally comes on if anybody walks past the home.
And Aaron, those lights, the motion activated lights on Sebastian and the neighbor's home did not come on.
No. Mm-mm. Which is in the video when you see the flashlights, that's why all you can see are the two dots of the flashlight. You can't really see anything else.
Aaron, this Ring doorbell camera or something similar, did it ever show those outdoor light sensors coming on that night?
Not in that particular video. So that's the only video that we've been able to get our hands on. Authorities have said they've received several videos and things of that nature sent into them. But all they could confirm for us with that video was that was one of the pieces of evidence that they are looking at, and they are aware of that video. But authorities could have other videos that they're looking at, but that's the one that we've been able to get our hands on, which is just very odd considering, again, Sebastian, they have said that he had that flashlight with him.
Douglas McGregor, it grows curiouser and curiouser, to coin a phrase, because if he had walked out of that house, those motion sensor lights would have come on. But from what we can deduce, they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen the video, and my first question would be, let's just set aside the motion sensor lights for a moment. Who would he leave that house with if it wasn't one of the three parents? Who would it be? And those, that would be the next step in the investigation.
That is a great question. Who else would he have left with, if not for his mom, stepfather, or dad? My answer is I don't see him leaving the house with any other person. He had a sheltered life, no friends, very little family came over to visit them at that house. His father was at work. His father's new to the area, had only been in the area for a little over a year. So who would this boy feel comfortable with to sneak out of his house and get in a car without disturbing mom in her bedroom? It just...
At that point, looking at that video.
And Seth, who can verify his last conversation other than the mom and the stepdad? He was at school on Friday. You spoke to him Thursday night. He was at school on Friday, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So I know he was alive and well, say at 3:30 on Friday afternoon. Who saw him other than the parents from that afternoon, 3:30-ish, till we find out he's missing on Monday morning?
I don't know who else.
Seth. So I don't have any proof of life between Friday.
So he didn't have any knowledge at this point that there was any day out with the cousins and other family members or anything like this, it sounds like. Let's listen to that question again.
On Friday afternoon. Who saw him other than the parents from that afternoon, 3:30-ish, till we find out he's missing on Monday morning?
Bye, Sams. Have a great day.
I don't know who else.
Seth. So I don't have any proof of life between Friday afternoon and Monday morning?
I haven't been informed of anything. My only proof of life would be Katie, his mom.
Okay, who is cooperating with police? Guys, I want to give you the tip line again. 615-451-3838. Repeat. 615-451-3838. Listen to Sebastian's mom, Katie.
That we love you so much, and we want you to come home, and you're not in trouble.
You're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. Sad.
I guarantee you he is loved. And trust me, the open arms are waiting for him to come home. From every parent to every family members to probably everyone in the community. But there's no malice. That we just want
No
our
malice.
boy home. Bad. Badly.
That is from WSMV 4. That also has the full discussion with Sebastian's mother, the full interview. WSMV 4. To you, Seth Rogers, what are your final thoughts?
I'm just looking for my son. I want him to come home. I need people to look at his picture. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head up. If you see him, please call 911.
You didn't hear him skip a beat or say, look like they don't know what to say to their own son, which we're going to find, which we've already seen 5 other examples of a mom that can't even say what she wants to hear, her son to hear.
What are your final thoughts?
I'm just looking for my son. I want him to come home. I need people to look at his picture. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head up. If you see him, please call 911. I need my son back.
Do you think he left that home alone?
I have no idea what to think. It's not like him.
Seth, am I missing anything?
I'm missing something. This puzzle just isn't making sense. There's missing pieces to it. There's just missing pieces.
I've been following this search, and law enforcement has done a thorough job of using different assets at their disposal. But the search needs to be expanded. The number one reason that autistic children go missing are runaways, endangered runaways. And once that hits a certain point in time, statistically, it turns into a parent abduction is the number one leading cause. But based on his age, they need to expand this search.
Let's listen to that again.
And, once that hits a certain point in time, statistically, it turns into a parent abduction is the number one leading cause.
Parent abduction, number one leading cause. Number one leading cause, parental abduction. We know where Seth was. What else does that leave?
But based on his age, they need to expand this search. Where might he go? What method of transportation might he have? And they need to research everywhere that they've already searched within the 5 mile or 10 mile radius, because autistic children, they have a tendency to hide or avoid stimuli. So just loud noises in general, helicopters, sirens, people shouting, they may hide, they may seek out crevices. That construction site that the dog hit needs to be researched thoroughly. And this is something that not only law enforcement can do, but the parents can get together, volunteer searches within the community to...
The parents aren't getting together. Only one parent's really searching.
Search these areas as well.
Hold on, let me understand something. Aaron, you told me that the dogs had not made a hit. Wasn't that a false positive at the construction site?
Yes, ma'am.
But still, it needs to be further investigated. Back to Seth, you keep saying that a piece of the puzzle is missing. Something is missing. It doesn't add up. What do you mean by that?
Something, it doesn't add up. For him to break routine and to leave the house with no shoes, no socks on, no coat, something just doesn't make sense.
Guys, please help us bring Sebastian home. This boy needs us. 615-451-3838. Goodbye, friend.
So there we have it. The Seth interview. This is the second interview we've shown of Seth. We've shown about 5 interviews of the mother and the stepfather. Much different in the tone. Much different. Hey, Michelle, it's nice to see you. Trishy, it's nice to see you. Oh, SPED teacher, it's nice to see you, my love. Your ears must have been burning. I was talking about you. In a good way. In a good way. So we have this. This is very early on, and we're going to be getting to, not right now, later this afternoon, we're going to be getting into the interview, the Nancy Grace interview with mom and stepdad. A much different demeanor, much different, very stick-like figures. This we were able to glean a lot, but listen to this. As I was listening to this, I don't know why I didn't catch it before, but I did not. It sounds to me like mom and stepdad made several calls before they called law enforcement. That to me is a red flag, because we hear on an interview the stepfather saying, we immediately called law enforcement because that's what good parents are supposed to do. And now we're listening and finding out that he was called at 6:20. That would have been when mom and stepdad were on the phone with each other. So mom was on three-way listening to Chris leave this message for Seth. And then who else did they call? Because they still had another 13 minutes. 13 minutes before they even called law enforcement. Who else did they call? They weren't calling Seth to see if he had Sebastian. They weren't calling Seth to find out if he knew anything about it. They were calling him to inform him that their child was gone. And they call him before law enforcement. I don't know. I don't know what that means to you, but to me, it's more layers of confusion in this already confusing case. Wait, so she didn't have the balls to call? No. And I think you might have missed it, K-Mac. He said that he received the call that because he didn't have his phone on him. He's not allowed to have his phone in jail. So he didn't have his phone on him, and he didn't get the message until 7:20 in the morning when he was leaving work. But the call came in at 6:20. That's some 13 minutes, not after he called law enforcement, which is what many of us thought, that the stepdad had Katie on three-way, called law enforcement, and then after they got off with them, left a message for dad. It's just the opposite. So now we have to look at this timeline as mom waking up at 6, calling stepdad at 6:03 when she realized her son was missing. Stepdad saying, look here, look here, look here. Who else did they call? What else happened from 6:03 to 6:20 before stepdad calls dad to tell him the child's missing? And what happened 13 minutes after that message was left? Why did it take them so long after they left the message for Seth to call law enforcement? It sounds to me they had a checklist. Just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. Because this does not make sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but it definitely does not make sense to me. And I just wanted to show you guys before we close out our beautiful Delilah in her daisy dress. Hi, pretty. Aw, she's so cute. She's the apple of mommy's eye. She's the apple of the coffee club's eye, too. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, just too much. Hi, sweet pea. Hi, sweet pea. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us, and you're doing so good on camera today. Aw, hey, baby loves her mommies. Her mommy loves her. There she is. She's in her daisies. She's in her daisies. There that big, beautiful baby is. And her Gene Simmons. So in case you guys needed some cuteness to put a little love in your heart, there you go. I know the bow's as big as her head. It's so cute. Thank you, Gypsy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Aww. Yes, I love her dress too, and she's such a sweet little girl. Look at her. She got this sweet little girl. She just likes hanging out with mommy. Look at that. Aww. She's getting so big. She's hurting though. Her teeth are hurting. I don't know if you guys can see that, but she's got her canines are coming in on the bottom, and they're pushing her baby canines out, but they're not moving. So she's got both teeth there, and it's causing a lot of pressure for her, and she's been whimpery a little bit today. She's been whimpery, but she's becoming a big girl. She's becoming a big girl. She is. If my child went missing, the first call would be to the other parents. So Christina says, if my child was missing, the very first call would be to the other parent, but it wasn't. It was to the stepfather. And then it still took them 17 minutes to call the biological father. And it took them another 13 minutes to call law enforcement? If they knew that this child was missing when they called Seth, why wasn't their next call immediately law enforcement? What were they doing in the 17 minutes before they called Seth? And what were they doing in the 13 minutes after they called Seth? That's what I would like to know. That's what I would like to know. Give her some cold carrots. Oh, she loves carrots too, but I made a big pot of chicken soup last week, and I haven't bought any new carrots because, to be honest with you, I'm leaving in a couple of days, and I like fresh vegetables, so I've got ribs. Those ribs are so good. Oh my God. I will tell you guys, my secret for any juicy meat, any meat that has a bone in it other than steak, I cook upside down. Okay? All of your juices, all of your flavor, everything is in the bone. So if your bone is on the metal and you're cooking it with the meat up, all the juice is just going to the pan. It's not getting in your meat. So like even my ribs, when I cook my ribs, I usually cook them in a smoker, but I haven't used my smoker in a really long time. So I've been using the oven for my, and I used smoked seasoning to give that smoky flavor in it, like smoked salt and other seasonings. All right, well, thank you for the bath. I appreciate it. And I turn mine and I cook them halfway upside down. So all the juice gets down into the meat of the, I do the same thing with my chicken, my turkey, everything. Anything that has meat and the bones are on the bottom, I flip upside down and I cook it. And I'm telling you, you'll never have another dry piece of meat ever again. People that don't like white meat, cook your chicken breasts bone side up for the first half an hour of cooking. And then when I cook white meat, I put tinfoil over it. Keep all the steam and everything in there to make the meat moist. And the only time I ever uncover it is the last 15 minutes, and it's just to crisp up the top of the skin. That's it. So if you guys want juicy meat and you guys like white meat, but you hate the fact that it's always dry, you're cooking it wrong. I can tell you right now, I have never had a dry piece of white meat in this house that I've ever cooked. So those ribs, I turned upside down. It was the bone up, meat down, and I've got to tell you, they were literally falling off the bone. They're very, very good. Very, very good. Cooking a turkey upside down, you have yes, exactly, Dina, exactly. Hey, Michelle, it's so nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. My husband made them that way too. Yeah. You got to remember, your bones have all your flavor. Like whenever like your steak bones and stuff like that, I make broth out of the bones. I have people cut their meat off their bones, like their T-bones, and I throw it in a pot and cook it all night. And it has some of the darkest broth that comes off of that bone that you'll ever see. It's amazing. And you have a great stock. Yes, we have homemade chicken broth. It's good. It's good. Every time you have wings, that little wing you got to cut off, those, don't throw those away. Throw those in a Ziploc bag and stick them in your freezer and keep adding your wingtips to those. You want to talk about a flavorful broth? Those wings, those little tips of the wings that everybody cuts off because they have the flats and but there's that little piece of bone. Those right there, that is the best chicken broth. I use those wing tips. I just stick them. I cut them off the wings and cut the wings in half, and I stick all of the little wings, the tipped wings that you can't eat. I stick those in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer until I need to make stock. You can even put in beans. Yeah. I saw an Nick is hiring. Yes, there is. I don't know what the qualifications or the criteria is, but it looks like they're looking for somebody to work maybe 2 or something hours, very mild stuff. Anybody can pretty much do it. I looked at one of theirs. They were looking for PIs. So I don't know if they're specifically looking for PIs. You need to reach out to them and find out. But he is good about getting back. He's building an amazing team. The team has been really welcome support. Not only just the ground stuff. I mean, the stuff that they are able, their PIs and other investigators that are helping them and assisting them and going through all this. It's just amazing. It's amazing what they bring to the table. And of course, it's always a plus to have a huge legal team too, because I really do believe that they're going to help put a stop to a lot of the stuff we've been dealing with on these social media platforms for several years. It's just gotten so far out of control, and people thinking they can do these things and thinking there's no repercussions. And it's nice to know that we have a team that really is not just fighting for Sebastian, but fighting for doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. We all know that this hate and all this stuff, this mob mentality on here, these hate bonding channels and stuff like that are really inciting their audience to do nefarious thing and unscrupulous things is getting to an epic proportion. And I just feel that their team is going to help bring a lot of those levels way, way, way down. And, I think because they're going to do that, it's going to help us locate Sebastian or find more information, because right now these people are intimidating people from coming forward. Okay, they see how when people come forward, how they're attacked, and it's stopping people from giving legitimate information to help lead to the whereabouts of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. This is not from Team Betty. This is from Team Hate. Okay, this is what we've watched unfold for years and just progressively get worse and worse and worse. Despite all efforts to try to get it under control, it hasn't worked. So I really think that this is going to be the betterment for not only this case, but social media abroad and into the future. I really think that this is something that needed to be done a long time ago. And I'm just welcoming of any and all help to stop the hate on these channels and stop what they're doing in these cases. And you know what their biggest weapon is they just keep looking over here and saying, oh, it's Bullhorn Betty's the one doing it. I'm not bullying people. I'm not trying to take people's channel. I'm not trying to destroy their life. I'm covering a case, and I'm sorry they don't like the coverage of the case, or they don't like looking at a mom and stepdad with side eyes, but that's them. They can do that on their channel. On this channel, we're going to tell our audience the truth. We're not going to lie. This is Nancy Grace. It's not like we're so far off the track of legitimate people doing this stuff, having a wealth of knowledge, prosecuting these cases, and they're saying, whoa, wait a minute. Something ain't right here. And if all these professionals are saying something's not right here, and we've got these uneducated knuckleheads that have substance abuse problems telling us that we're wrong for feeling that, do you think it's us that's wrong in this matter? Or do you think it's the knuckleheads that are wrong in this matter? We have FBI agents that are saying something stinks to high heaven. We have forensic psychologists saying stuff's not right in this matter. We've got professionals that have committed their careers to autism and all this other saying, hey, this is not right here. We've got all of these high educated people with degrees that have made this their life, and they're saying something is not right here. Are we going to believe them or some knucklehead that can't even get a freaking job at the Slurpee counter at 7-Eleven? Me personally, I'm going to be following the professionals. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, thank you, Kelsey. Welcome to this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club. Welcome to the family. I'm listening to the professionals. I'm going to run my channel based upon professionals, not felons. And we all need to start getting our information from legitimate sources, not crackpot YouTubers that want to sit here and war with every person trying to do good in these cases. So please ditch the drama. If you're true crime, come to true crime and own true crime. But if you're all about the drama, please do true crime a favor and stay out and keep that drama in the drama channels and on the drama channels and out of these cases. That's what is expected. But what they're doing is they're inciting people to blow up people's phones, give bunk information, and they're all saying, oh, I'm a victim, we're not doing that. Yeah, you are. Behind the scenes, in those Discord rooms, in those Signal chats, everything. We know what's going on behind the scenes. So don't sit there and say it's not happening, because it is. And the people out there that believe it's not happening, you guys, I feel bad for you, because they're pulling the wool over your eyes. We're here for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, and when Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers comes home, we're going to be for the next victim, and we're going to fight for them as well. So let's keep praying. Let's pray for strength for Seth. Let's pray that his son is brought home and brought home safely and brought home soon. For the rest of us, let's keep working, keep our head in the game, ignore the noise, and let's keep focused on finding any and all information about the whereabouts where Sebastian could be. How can you guys help? Go through the social media, sleuth. Go through the social media accounts, find any nugget of information that we may have missed. Let's start fact-finding those nuggets of information to see if something will fit into this crazy puzzle that can help find information about Sebastian. That's what we need to do. If you have ideas of where to search, send those over. Give me the reason why you think to search. Don't just send me a map and say this is a great place. Give me the reasons why you believe it's a great place, because that may determine whether that area is searched or not, because we need to know why you feel it needs to be searched. It's got to be a purpose. This can't be an unpurposed search. This has to have purpose. This has to have direction, and it has to have vision. So if you guys want to help, keep lighting it up green. Keep always spreading Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' name out there. And please, 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 always stay on legitimate channels. I expect great things from BHB, never disappointed. Thank you, Lisa B. Always. God bless you. We're going to continue to pray for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Thank you all for spending some time with me, a lot of time with me, actually. God bless you. Make it a great Saturday. We'll be back later this evening to go over the Nancy Grace interview with the mom and stepdad later this afternoon, and then we'll start comparing notes. God bless you.